Okay, Herc, there we have it. More players publicly backing Gregg Berhalter, who is still a candidate for the U.S. job. Something, nothing, or everything?
Yeah, it's something, absolutely. It can't be nothing when pillars of the U.S. men's national team come out and talk, right? Each and every single one of the players that we've heard, Christian Pulisic, Matt Turner, Tim Ream, have spoken positively about the return of Gregg Berhalter. There's a reason for that. Now, each one feels a debt to Gregg Berhalter. Christian Pulisic has found a coach who trusts him, who believes in him, who's patient with him, who's given leadership responsibility, something that he's not had in his club career for a lot of that. Tim Ream in Gregg Berhalter probably saw a piece of him, a piece of who he was as a player in Tim Ream, and gave him the opportunity as a player in his mid-30s to play in a World Cup, which Tim Ream took full advantage of and earned very well. He gave him that responsibility. He gave him plenty of opportunities. And then you look at Matt Turner. It was Gregg Berhalter who literally left Zach Steffen at home, not even on the bench, left him at home so Matt Turner can feel like the clear-cut number one at the World Cup. Each one feels a sense of debt to Gregg Berhalter, and I understand what it's like. They're good people. They're good pros. I will never say anything bad about Jurgen Klinsmann. Jurgen Klinsmann showed me a confidence when I was playing for him. I started like 13 straight games and like that with Jurgen Klinsmann. It's very difficult for me to say anything negative about Jurgen Klinsmann because of how he treated me, because of how I was in his system. This is the same type of thing. These are good professionals. They're never going to go out and just bash Gregg Berhalter. But Tim Ream says it himself. It's not up to them to decide. And wherever they go, they're going to be good pros. But this is something, absolutely. Yeah.
What about from the prospective sporting director's position, right? You're now in charge of this team. How much weight does what these players are saying? Like, if we have a near unanimous pool of U.S. guys backing Berhalter, as the new sporting director, do you have to bring him back?
No, absolutely not.
So don't listen to the players?
Well, no, I mean, I don't, unless it's an extremely toxic situation, within the locker room, you're never going to see players say, hey, don't do it, get rid of them. That's never really the case, Seb. Do you know what I mean? So it shouldn't be the case because...
Sure, I think this is a little bit more than just not saying get rid of him. These are guys publicly backing a coach who's embroiled in a controversy, by the way. Like this, I don't think it's easy for these guys to take this stand.
Well, it was easy enough where they took the stand. You know, the first opportunity they were asked about it, that's how easy it was for them, Seb. And I agree with what you're saying. The sporting director has a choice to make because regardless of how serious or not you thought the situation was, or reading the report you still think it is, there are going to be many sponsors who are going to say, hey, that's not where we want to go with this. And the sporting director's job is also financial. So how do you deal with the program going forward, and how do you handle the backlash that they may come with bringing Gregg Berhalter back? So it's not just what three players say. There's a lot of things to take into account here, but because it's only three players, and if I'm the sporting director, I'd say, hey, I appreciate the feedback, I appreciate your input, but I'll take it from here.
Yeah. Honestly, dude, I think as every day ticks on, I think there's a more real chance that Gregg Berhalter ends up as the U.S. men's national team manager.
Yeah, could be.
I think one thing is the news cycle, right? The news cycle is going to kind of bury everything that happened, not just what happened between him and the Reinas, but the domestic violence issue as well. And if you think about it, Herc, remember when the investigation was ongoing, and I wasn't on air when the results of the investigation were released, we assumed that U.S. Soccer was kind of keeping Gregg Berhalter close for legal reasons, right? But now the investigation's done, and they're still keeping him alive as a candidate. And they went as far, Herc, in that investigation, which is an investigation into domestic violence, to say that they were impressed with the guy who committed the act of domestic violence.
Well, the report indicated that, not U.S. Soccer.
Right. The report came away
That's
after an investigation.
That has nothing to do with U.S. Soccer, though.
They paid for it, and they released it, and they published it.
What do you mean? Okay.
They're going way overboard to rehab Gregg Berhalter's image. Why else would you do that? Because obviously it could cause problems, as you mentioned, sponsors, fans, whatever. Why would you do that if you're not legitimately keeping him around? Hell of a coincidence if they go out and hire Sportsology, hire a sporting director, and that person happens to bring back the same coach as the process in 2018.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, it wouldn't surprise me at this point.
What I will say here is you can't, like, who's going to make the call if he's no longer a candidate? Because that's not supposed to be their job. You know what I mean? If you can make the call he's no longer a candidate, just go out and pick the coach yourself if that's the case. So I understand the frustration by many, but it's a non-issue at the moment until it is.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.